On this week's Modded, we start off with the epic Trip, a source mod. Then Ray will be taking us off into another adventure in the land of Skyrim. And we'll be finishing off with Warsword Conquest, another amazing Mount & Blade Warband mod. This and more in this episode of Modded. So let's take a look at Trip. Trip is a source mod based on Half-Life 2. It has a steep difficulty, and even from the first 10 minutes into the game, you find yourself really fighting for survival. Trip tells the story of a person who has a car accident while driving home. You wake up at night lying next to your crashed car in an unfamiliar and foreign place that isn't part of the route you usually drive to get home. Fearing the worst that you are indeed a very long way from home, you fight to survive and return home. As I said before, the game has a very high difficulty level. Soon as I managed to get out of the first starter area, I was insta-killed by what can only be described as a massive Zergling-style attack from enemy soldiers. I think I had at one point about maybe not 12, maybe closer to about 10, 8 or 10 of these guys on me, just shooting the crap out of me. It was incredible. I think it is awesome that we have mods at all difficulties. But I would recommend that if you're like me and you're not a particularly patient person, you should definitely take it in small chunks. Either that or get more pro. The game's skill level is very refreshing though, and it's the first source mod that has kicked my ass within the first 5 minutes in play. In fact, I think it might be the first game that has properly kicked my ass in a long time, which was awesome. It's great to have your ass kicked every now and then. It's very refreshing to be angry. Honest. So, the game uses the source engine's lighting in a really good way. Really utilizes it to an incredible level. Kind of using the dark patches that you see in a lot of Half-Life mods with the classic Half-Life 2 style of incredibly bright lights that you just go, my eyes, why is it so bright? Turn off the light. It was good. It made a really nice, comfortable look to the game, and it gave it this kind of very atmospheric feel to it. I had great FPS, which for me as a YouTuber is a very important thing, but for anyone who's streaming or making videos, or who is playing this on an older machine, it will be very good for you to know that this is a very well-polished game, and it has very few issues with regards to frame rate. Now, on my PC, and my PC is at least 4 years old, I had amazing FPS. Some source mods that I have struggled to keep decent frame rate when I called with fraps, but even with fraps I was able to hit about 800 FPS. And without fraps it was about 1400 FPS. All in all, it made for an incredibly smooth feel to the game. No tearing of frames, no skipping, no sudden jutters or anything like that. It was a very smooth experience. It was, for me, a great and inspired way to start the mod, to have you placed into this situation and left to explore and find your way out. It's really nice for me because I find it really hard to find games that involve exploring that I actually find are fun. So to combine that exploring feel in an FPS is incredible, because FPS's major downfall is always that it's very much a case of you're on the railroad tracks often, and you have to go this way, then you have to go that way. This game, I honestly couldn't tell. I honestly felt like I was free to go where I wanted. Obviously, there are parts that were cut off, but with regards the order in which places I went to in the starting area, I felt completely free to go wherever I wanted. There was no restrictions, as far as I could tell, of places that I would actually want to go. It was refreshing. It was very, very good. And whilst I wished I had more of a warning before I was zerged by the first wave of mobs, I did appreciate the surprise of a mod that would throw an actual challenge so early on. It made me think about the way that games are right now. We've been programmed to feel safe in the beginning of a game. We expect the first 5 minutes or the first 10 minutes even to be like a tutorial kind of experience where we're being kept safe, and it's pretty easy enough that we can just relax and sit back and just play it. But this game broke that concept and threw me really into the deep end, which was so refreshing. I cannot tell you. It is so refreshing to have that feeling of, oh, I'm completely safe, and then to get your ass handed to you. because you instantly start thinking, well, hell, everything I thought I knew about gaming with regards this kind of genre, this kind of style of game, is out the window. So I can say I've only played about half an hour's worth of it. I'd be interested to play a bit more of it, see how far it goes and how much more challenging it gets. But all in all, I would say this mod was a real pleasure to play. If you want a challenging but fun and atmospheric mod, then this really is the mod for you. To check out this mod, just follow the links in the description. And now, on to Ray.
I have a confession to make. When it comes to my likes and dislikes, there's one thing that will always rank high on my list of things that I am absolutely obsessed with, thing that I absolutely love, and a thing that I collect on avidly. And that is my favorite superhero, Deadpool. I collect his merchandise, I collect his comic books, heck, I collect his pictures that I can find online, especially when Burns finds them for me and sends them to me at random times throughout the day. What kind of fan would I be if I didn't play Skyrim and use the Deadpool mod? That is correct. There is a Deadpool mod that turns a character in the land into everybody's favorite merc with a mouth. He is a completely customized follower that you could use to your advantage, and let me tell you right now, it is a true advantage. You can find him in Whiterun in the local pub. He sits there drinking his mead like a good merc should.
Sweet, who we gonna go kill? What am I saying? I don't care! So if you're not gonna give me any sweet rolls, I ain't carrying nothing. I'm just kidding.
When you get him, he actually has equipables that you could take from him, which is actually his gear. You can make your character look just like Deadpool, katana, rama, and all. The moment you get him, you can already tell the person who created the mod absolutely captured the image of Deadpool in terms of one-liners. Even his voice is very Deadpool-like. I'm going to go ahead and let you hear a couple of the quips right now.
Is it to kill you? 'Cause I could do that. I could do that right now. I'm just playing. Hoo-yah! Let's go! It's time! Blood!
Just when I think there's nothing else Deadpool can say, he says something completely off the wall and random at different times throughout the entire time I played with him. He is absolutely an amazing companion, and any Deadpool fan would be crazy not to install just this mod to play with him. When I first got him, I also walked across another character that is actually another mod I installed for today. But Deadpool takes precedence, so we will come back to her next time, because today is all Deadpool all the time. Deadpool comes equipped with two sets of weapons, his trademark katana and, well, a bow. Despite the fact that he's Deadpool, this is Skyrim. No guns allowed. Sorry, man. But he's actually really, really potent with the bow. In fact, when I was going around just in random places, he was one-shotting creatures with his bow by himself. I sat back and let him do all the work because it was great. And when he used his katana, he actually fought as Deadpool would with his own katana in a comic book, swinging around wildly while throwing out one-liners like it's nobody's business. It is the complete and absolute perfect Deadpool experience. We even got brave enough and tried to take on a giant, me and him. Needless to say, things didn't go in our favor, but I did get to hear a one-liner that absolutely made me laugh out loud. Hearing him say Deadpool smash was enough to make me know that I am not continuing on in my journey without this character in my team. I absolutely love Deadpool, and I love the mod Deadpool for Skyrim. He even has a little quip for everybody when you tell him to wait here.
That's okay. Gives me time to work on my one-liners.
And working on his one-liners, he will until I jump back into Skyrim and play with him some more. Make sure you go download the Deadpool mod today and get your merc on. Now, back to you, Burns.
Thanks, Ray, and now on to Warsword Conquest. Warsword Conquest is a single-player total conversion mod for Mount & Blade Warband, and is currently in beta. They still have plenty left to implement and lots of work to do, but I enjoy checking out this mod so much that I just had to cover it. The mod enters you into the awesome and epic Warhammer Fantasy universe, and allows you to play as either the Lizardmen, the Tomb Kings, the Forest Goblins, the Southland Dwarfs, or as a human. There are also pirates and the Nippon in the mod, although they are not playable races. Although, for me, the real fun was to be had playing a dwarf. You're actually smaller than normal humans, and so are your units, unlike in some mods where dwarves are just wearing different gear, or have tiny bodies and a gigantic head like in a recent mod I reviewed. They're actually perfect in their proportions. The dwarves have perfect bodies. They don't look out of order. They don't look like they have gigantic heads. They're normal things. They're just smaller. The goblins are even smaller, and you'll be able to see in the video later some of the height differences that the game has on offer. The mod also has a ton of new items, including firearms and what can only be described as a 7-shot death cannon of doom. The mod's new armor models are awesome and help bring you into the engaging world of Warhammer Fantasy universe. The mod also has a cool new map, the tournaments are reworked to be actually fun and challenging, and the game will also feature the ability to build outposts and forts. They are also going to be adding custom missions, more models, possibly Skaven, and getting some awesome Warhammer style special effects, as well as some handcrafted scenes for castles and towns. This mod felt pretty awesome. It was easy to build up an army and to start with the fights. They're not the most challenging of the mods I've played, but however, this mod comes into its own based on its amazing modelling. Whether it's the detailed armour sets, or the amazing different sized races, or the epic new mounts, the models are what make this mod stand out among the crowd. Nothing will ever compare to riding my heavily clad dwarf on a big black wolf into battle against a hungry pack of goblins with a pirate cutlass, a thick dwarven shield in my arm, sitting on the edge of my chair wielding my mic stand like a giant lance and screaming bloody victory as I cut through a swathe of enemies. This mod for me was extra special, because I was of the generation when I was younger that Warhammer Fantasy had just started to get real popular. It was no longer a geeks thing, lots of kids were doing it, and I just remember playing the balls out of Bretonnia and loving absolutely every second. So for me it was exciting to see the great game put into a mod with the epic Mountain Blade engine. If I had one thing to ask the dev to do, it'd find a way to put some Bretonnian style stuff in. Most especially would be to add a Pegasus mount into the game, with like an extended jump rather than a fly so it isn't completely OP. Other than that, I really hope that Mountain Blade 2 is as moddable as its predecessors, because mods like this I hope will be around for a long time and will grow and develop with the game and the community. I really enjoyed this mod, and if you'd like to check out more about the game, check out the link in the description. I've been Burn and this was Modded. A massive thanks to Ray for his submission this week, and a big thanks to you for watching. Be sure to like the video so we know that you're enjoying this series, and so that we know to keep on making vids for it. Make sure to check out the other shows on our channel, and to drop a subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Thanks a bunch, and see you next time on Modded.